Hello YouTube, Damo_23 here, and welcome back to episode number 99 of Glory Hunter. We are one away from the magical 100, and I do have something pretty special planned for episode 100. With that being said though, in today's episode we will have our first game in the league against Hertha Berlin in charge of Dortmund, but we have to speak about the squad, transfers, and a player that I've brought in that is causing me a lot of a headache, or a big headache at a minimum. With that being said, if you are enjoying the content, do give it a like, do subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you went and checked out last episode, you know exactly what happened. If not, you should go and check it out, because Brazil duty was quite fun, and the episodes beforehand was us completing France. Without further ado, we're going to go through the squad and see what we can do. Now, when we looked at the season preview before I came in, we were predicted to come fourth. After making my changes, we were predicted to come second. None of our players get in here, even though Jusfi and Haas do make it into the key players section. You have a look at the team, because Jusfi is injured, he doesn't get into that side. There's a couple of new names on there, especially one that you will know, but let's get into this without further ado. But I'm going to start with what is proving to be the interesting story of this. I am going to get to the outs, because we made $113 million worth of outs, but Julian Linden at 19 years of age looks absolutely crazy in the Belgium. He didn't really want to come to me. 27 mil release fee, was quite happy to stay at Club Brugge, wanted to go to Chelsea and a couple of others. Made a lot of promises, which I don't like doing in FM because they can be a little bit bugged, and he's causing me some issues. Now, great player, great determination, great physicals, can head the ball, and with playing at this level in 2 to 3 years' time, he's going to be pretty well class, right? There's also a world where he joined just before he turned 19, so he would become homegrown here at Dortmund as well, which is quite a good thing too if we have to spend 4 years or more here as well. But my issue is he wanted a lot of promises. And if you have a look at those promises, have a look. Give the player the number 5 shirt. Easy enough, done. Had to bring a player in to help him settle. Now, there was no one at Club Brugge that was good enough to come in. I actually asked him to recommend a player as a rotation player that's a midfielder. He recommended this guy. He's not particularly great. We paid his 13 mil release fee to get him here to make him happy. I'm going to train him to be a backup right back and play him occasionally, and then hope to sell him next year when everyone is happy and hunky-dory and in the Champions League. We're also finding it hard to get the creme de la creme players, even though we have a lot of money, because we're not in the Champions League. However, it's the last promise that is doing my head in. He wants us to, wherever it is, win the domestic cup, that's fine. Strengthen in the midfield, there we go. Please to promise improvements in the midfield as soon as possible. I have signed a ton of midfielders this window. I will say Linden's come in later in the window, so a couple of these midfield signings hasn't, but I've signed one guy who's one of the best and most recognised ball-winning midfielders in world football to come in to play for Dortmund at the age of 35, and he's not happy. And I can't believe it. That man is Frank Kessie. That is correct. We went and bought Frank Kessie on a very cheap fee. We do have some clause in there if he gets to play 50 games, an extra couple of mil, but it didn't cost us much. He's still fantastic because of that natural fitness, great technicals to be a ball-winning midfielder and support, and that's the role that he's going to be in, which is perfectly fine as well. Now, if you look at the rest of the team, there's a lot more to talk about. You've got Walters, who is 34 mil, we sold on, who is a backup right back, haven't replaced yet. Or Gussie or James or Zagali, who I didn't really want to sell, but he had a release fee. They met it for 20 mil. They were going to meet it for 20 mil, so managed to get that deal done. Ulrich rejected 49 mil to go to whoever was on loan with last year, Hoffenheim, and then decided that he wanted to go for 16 mil to El Hali. And then a couple of other guys that we've sold on in there as well with some money. Now, let's talk about the rest of the team and why I'm very frustrated that Linden wants midfielders in particular. Sebastian was actually being released by, I think it was Antwerp. Look at him as a backup ball-winning midfielder and support. Physically very good, mentally okay, or mentally very good, technically okay, is a very like-for-like replacement to Kessie and his freestyle, which, by the way, is a good/leading Bundesliga player. So I don't understand how Linden's upset. We signed Diogo Castro. We didn't need another forward-thinking player, but 4.5 mil was his release fee. Somehow Uruguay didn't pick him for the Copa America, which they should have. 17 headering, 15 long shots, 16 first touch, fairly well-rounded and very strong. I can't wait to use him in the future there as well. We needed a centre-back that's first choice to be alongside Linden. I decided to give him some experience. And the squad was a very young squad, so some experience was needed. Kessie being one, the other one being Tomori. We've used him in the save before. He's fantastic. He's gone from Milan to PSG, and then for us for 7 mil is nothing really. Still physically pretty good. For 1 year as the starting centre-back, great. And then next year being the backup centre-back, I think it's perfect to bring Tomori in as well. Kessie we know all about. Now, welcome Lito. We mentioned it previously in the last episode. We needed to go for another keeper because Markovic turned us down. Lito comes in. He's a very good sweeper keeper and defend. Good 101. Pretty good in the air. 6'4". This is going to be your new Brazilian number 1 as well. We're going to play him. Hopefully he develops and he will be my World Cup keeper when the World Cup rolls around as well. We already talked about Visca. Another Brazilian in Rue. We needed a backup centre-back and he can play backup full-back if needed. Main reason I picked him up is he's got physicals. Secondly, if he does develop into his potential, he's going to be a good to leading Bundesliga player or a leading Bundesliga player. With those physicals, if he develops this season, he will replace Tomori next year. And when we've got a pretty good partnership and Rue will play in my World Cup squad. And then we've got Linden, who I talked about, who's fantastic. And then lucky last, and I signed Marco Manuz before Linden came in, which I wish he didn't. Have a look at Mr. World Class Marco Manuz, who was at Sampdoria and generated out at there, or regened out, to play the Aristobal role, and he's incredible. Mentally so switched on. Physically very, very good. Can finish as well. Passing, vision, technique. He's got the lot. I cannot believe we picked him up. It was only 34.5 mil. And we picked him up. He's that good. This guy is unbelievable. Which means that we are training Haas to be a Segundo Volante. And you might be thinking, Damien, he's your best player. Why are you doing that? Because he's got 13 tackling and it allows me to play Manuz and him in the same team. He's also physically unbelievable. And I think Haas being very forward-thinking is going to get some goals from the middle apart from Segundo Volante. Which means, although my team's not exactly 100% here because of the international duties and whatnot, that's my team with Lito, Ernest, Linden, Tomori, and Jusfi, with Kessie and Haas. And once Haas learns, they're always going to be incredible. With Ragvinka, who is wanted, and if I get a good enough amount of money, I might sell to buy another winger, which hopefully makes Linden happy. Manuz, Val, and Real, which means that Costro came in for 5 mil, doesn't even get in. Lest we forget, on the bench, we've also got Chavi Simmons, we've got Roberto, we've got Minev, we've got Cowper, and Amoko wants to go to Bayern. I rejected 20-something mil, and I've said to him 49 mil can go. He's here too. I don't understand how he's requesting for a midfielder. Does mean that I have to sell Ivan Roldan. I don't want to because I've never got to use him on the save. He generated out at Milan and then left, and he looked pretty decent. It's a shame. Maybe I'll get to use him in the Spanish end of the save. But yeah, it means we're going to have to sell him. We've got plenty of money in the bank. If I sell the winger, I am going to go after someone that is very well class, maybe the best winger in the world, because I may as well, and try and lure him here. But yeah, I cannot believe that we're getting Linden saying that he wants still a midfielder, which seems to be very bugged, which this is. I'm hoping that he just becomes happy over time as we win games, and that's that, which will probably happen. But hopefully we can find a midfielder and make him happy. Next time we see each other on YouTube, it's going to be us in the first game of the season against Hertha Berlin. We do have a very easy game with the DOPDA Pokal, which I will fully rotate for. But I'll see you guys in a second. Don't go anywhere. Opening day of the season, Bundesliga. We got a big game against Hertha Berlin at home. I've also just realised here, YouTube, and I am live on stream, so links down below, come follow me live on Twitch. We've got Bayern's second game. If this game doesn't have too many highlights or is very one-sided, I will give you the Bayern game as well. But if this game's an absolute rip snorter, we'll leave it as a single episode. With that being said, though, pre-season went pretty well. Bielefeld a win. We played against a few year sides. A 4-3, which we conceded every highlight. But most notably, pretty comfortable. 0-0 at halftime against Bilbao, winning 5-0 second half. And then in our first competitive game in the DFB Pokal, we played an amateur side. We pretty much fully rotated, allowed some people to get some fitness back, etc. And we won 4-0, and we looked very, very good. Big shout out to Banala, who played out on the right-hand side and absolutely looked amazing. So who knows, there might be a footballer in him, even though we brought him in just to help Linden out. With that being said, though, the team is at full strength, and here we are, and this is your team to play on the opening day. It's Lito. We've given Ernest the vice-captaincy, and he's out there. Linden, Tomori playing his first game for us as well. Jusfi coming back from injury, has played 90 last time out. Kessie in the ball-winning midfielder role is starting for the first time. Huss in that line a bit deeper. Will say against the amateur side, he looked fantastic and set up a goal from that line. Rugkavina is not happy, but hopefully he stays. Manuz in the hole, making his debut for us, coming back from the Olympics. Roger Vau and Real, which leaves Castro on the bench, which, if this guy's on your bench, you're having a pretty good time of it. Minev, who is fantastic with that potential. Hopefully he goes into that. Xavi Simmons, Roberto, Moko, Rue, who had a very good game on his debut, to be said. Schottlebeck and Bonalia. It is a very, very good team. I almost expect to beat Hertha Berlin. Now, Hertha Berlin was a team that we nearly went to because it looks like the manager is probably gone. Yeah, it's not the same manager that was there, which means their manager ended up at Chelsea, I would imagine that is. So look, we're full strength. We've got a very young centre-back with a very experienced centre-back. Be interesting to see how this partnership works. Outside of that, we should be okay. Now let's go and have a look at this side here with Hertha Berlin, our first game in charge. Good to see you, Dim. Good to see you. Let's go and have a look. So we've got Nubel in net, who's pretty decent. Diogo Perez can't get at him, let's be honest. Fernandez looks good, the Uruguayan international. Now, Blazek, we nearly went for, and he wanted 50k a week. We said no, he's not that good. Adrian Truffert, Sergi Torres is not bad. Perone at 29 looks pretty well rounded. Gabriel Pereira at 31. Not someone I would call up for Brazil, but looks good. Almeida, Mudryk at 31. And Jan's a pretty good striker up top. Other people you might know on the bench as well. So, with that being said, without further ado, opening day of the season, and because we're in the Bundesliga and have the rights to it, we get all the nice little cut screens too, which is great. So here we are. We are in a very good moment, we feel. We'll say Linden is happy with all his other promises, bar the midfield one. I'm almost planning on not making another signing because I'm happy with the team. It's important to note we're not in Europe this season. It's Bundesliga and the DFB Pokal. I don't need the biggest of squads. So we have enough depth to probably make do. Linden's just got to get over it. Hopefully he does. I've already filmed episode 100 as well, by the way, guys. So to those on Twitch, episode 100 you will not see. This is episode 99. Make sure you subscribe to watch episode 100. As Real gets the ball, Roger Vau, first highlight, looks for Manuz, and in the end a good save from Nubel. But very well done, and us winning the ball there at home. And for me, look, if we win this game, it's a very good sign. And I expect to win this game. It's 74% possession here as we are pummeling Hertha Berlin, but nothing really to write home about here. Dim reckons we win 4-0. We kind of need goals for that. Manuz picks up a knock, hopefully nothing major. Maida now with a backstick ball, headed towards goal. We're 1-0 down to Sergi Torres. Well, on the opening day of the season, we've dominated the first 32 minutes and we're the team 1-0 down. That's a good header. Can't do much. There's Lido in goal. It's a great header. We're 1-0 down. Blazek goes long. Roger Vau tries to get on the touch and doesn't. Fernandez now. Torres. Perez now. Drives with it. Gabriel Pereira. Good tackle from Haskell. Straight back to him. Good from Ernest. Wins that one back. Good ball out to Ravinka. Munoz. What a ball. Vau. Oh, what a ball. Please be onside. Manuzzi on his debut with a ball and a half from nowhere. What is this ball from the new signing? Ernest well won. Ravinka, Munoz, first time on, well not first time, touches it, volleys it, straight to Val. And Val, the winger from Spain, scores and it's 1-1. Getting a little bit offended, they have 0.1 XG and they've scored. Sounds a bit like last year. Anyway, Tamori. Ernest. Finds Tamori. Finds Linden. That's a poor ball. I'm worried that Ernest is not going to create enough. Oh, they're in here. Wow. What's going on here? Great save from Lido, the Brazilian. A little bit worried of Ernest's movement. Now, playing him on wing back on defence because he's so good at sitting and he likes to be simple, but we might need to put him as a further forward wing back there because he really stopped moving the space, which I don't like. That's a good ball back stick. Linden plays Vau and we're going to get out of it. But one ball over the top, and Linden left it, which was weird. As for all the domination, Berlin have found a couple of moments and probably should have scored both. Half-time 1-1. I'm going to get aggressive here and tell them it's been unacceptable. Ernest is going to come off wing-back on attack to a wing-back there on attack, sorry. From a wing-back on defend to a wing-back on defend. From a wing-back on defend to a wing-back on attack. Fucking can't speak. Outside of that, everybody else seems to be okay. But not the greatest of half. Good on the stats, but not good anywhere else. Now, Nubel's going to go long, and hopefully we win. We do, and Manuz. Poor touch. It's actually, outside the assist, has had a pretty poor game on his debut. Anyway, can we force Nobel long? We do. And Jusfi, the club captain, takes it under his control. Tamori finds Haas in this deeper line where he's been fantastic. Great ball to Manuz. Needs help. Falls to Real. That's a goal. It's a little bit lucky. We'll take it. Manuz in the right area at least. Or Manuzi. Manuzi in the right area. Gets tackled, falls to us. And much better from Ernest. So when they got their second charge, because Ernest stayed in the same line on wing back on defend, we didn't want to play a square, but we got caught on the ball over the top. Look at this, because in the end, if Haas wants to, he can slip this straight away into here, and it leaves them disjointed. So this guy has to kind of sit in the middle and Blazik, which keeps his passing lane, which is nice. So the boys have learnt the system. Poor touch though. Falls the Real. We'll take it. That's a great finish. It's 2-1. For a team that hasn't really learnt the system properly yet, that's not too bad at all at the minute. 60 odd minutes played. Highlight here. We're going to make some changes here as well. Hopefully, I'm just going to let these guys know the change before we concede. At the minute, Linden's about to come off because he's not having a good game and he's getting torn to shreds, that 18-year-old, the 19-year-old. And we're also going to look to take Kessie off because he's on a booking and I don't want him to get suspended, to get sent off. Anyway, Val goes on a run. Still going is Val. Great run. Unreal run. Then he went for goal. That is interesting to say the least. Okay, so we got a couple of bookings out there. It's not the reason. I'm actually going to give Rue the game here because I think Rue's actually very good and got pace, which is fine. And we're going to get Kessie off there for Chaput so he doesn't get suspended. And I'm actually going to take Real off. I know he just scored. Actually, maybe do that. Right foot, left foot? Nah, just right footed. Anyone got a good left foot here? Because I think Castro needs to come in. I think Ravinka's had a stinker, so get Castro in. Might just get Real. Nah, he's not really that sort of player, so maybe we'll make one more change out there. Get Xavi Simmons out there maybe as well. Get Xavi Simmons out there to maybe create a little bit. Get Castro in too. Yeah, I'll explain about my midfield. Dim's just made the point here, YouTube. Obviously, he hasn't seen this episode because he's just come in. If Xavi Simmons is on your bench, your midfield must be really good. If someone could tell our centre-back Lyndon that, who's requesting me to sign more midfielders, that would be great. It seems very bugged. Anyway, Tamori finds Manuzzi. Val. Oh, here we go. Oh, misses. Big chance. Look, we've looked really good today. It's been great. Now, Jusufi is a little bit legless here. And with that as well, we're going to get Nico in on that side there. And he's actually going to go in as a fullback on support. And Ernest is actually going to go back into a fullback on support as well. Or wing back on support. Don't need to overcommit. Jusufi's had a pretty good game. And here we are. Time ticking away now. We've been dominant, but it's only 2-1. 6 minutes of added time. Where did they pluck that number from? Saying that though, they're down to 10 because they've lost an injury late. Opening day of the season, we were 1-0 down to 0.1 XG. 0.1 XG, we're 1-0 down, but we've come back, we've scored 2. A little bit lucky. Manuzzi's been credited the assist for the second goal, even though he got tackled. Must have flicked him on the way through that tackle. But he's been accredited it. And it's 2-1, and there we go. So look, we win. Manuzzi on his debut gets man of the match, and we looked good. But yeah, nice work, boys. Very well done by everybody. But yeah, obviously a lot more better, and we could do a lot more as well. Now, in saying that, we have Bayern in 7 days' time. We're going to make this an extra long episode 99 as a precursor special for episode 100. I'll see you guys in a second for Bayern Munich in match day number 2. Welcome back, YouTube. Second game of the season against Nagelsmann's Bayern. Not like he's there in real life anymore, which was absolutely silly that they sacked him because he was having an unreal year. But anyhow, our team's in pretty good spot. It's going to be the same team that just played against Hertha Berlin. Only one thing, though, is there's an inquiry been made about our boy Roger Val, who is sensational as a Spanish winger. He's only going to get better, very nippy, knows what he's doing, he's a great inside forward for us, or can play up front. Not even wanting to speak to AC Milan. Yeah, clubs in the Champions League can offer 68 mil and pick him up. So there is a world where we get some money and he leaves, and that's not going to be particularly fun for any of us. Anyway, the team is Lido in net, which, obviously it's Lido. He's fantastic. People may not know what the stats of some of these players look like. So Ernest, pretty good. Disregard the downward arrows. Definitely think wing back needs to be on support or attack because the lack of movement. Now, Linden, obviously, we know he's good, but he might struggle here today. Tamori, we need some help from you today to keep him, under wraps. Trusby's fantastic. Not much of a defending fullback. Boy, can he go forward. Hart's is having a fantastic year, one of our best. Hopefully, there's a Segundo Volante role soon. Kessie's Kessie, very good player. And this is where things become interesting. Ravinka's fantastic. If I needed a really solid another midfielder, it's for him and Jen look to sell him. Manuzzi, Marco, out of this world. Roger Val, who I just showed you, is fantastic. And the reason why Alfredo Real starts is have a look at him as a Spanish international striker. At 6'4", he's a big boy that's got to win some headers as well, which is great from an early cross. That's the only reason Diego Castro doesn't start is because that guy is fantastic up front. Anyhow, without further ado, we're going to get into this one here against Bayern Munich. They've got De Clasia, who we sold here, Charles, a long time ago, and he's still here up front as well. We're going to have a look at this Bayern team and really see what they look like. But yeah, they got a guy called Nicholas in net. The Austrian international looks great. Ignacio is a squad player, interesting. That's more of a left footer than a right. Delit's fantastic. Dayot's fantastic. Alfonso Davies is fantastic. Great stuff. Dario Azugo, fantastic footballer. Stiller we sold here. So there we are from Monaco season 1. Yeremy Pino, Jamie Musiala, Vinicius Junior, who's retired from Brazilian duty before the age of 30, which is annoying. And Charles is a guy we sold here for big money when we were at AC Milan. The rest of their team is down here on the bench. People might know Safanov, the backup keeper. Arnaud Calamendo is a striker used for France. Andreas Derberis, who plays for me at Brazil, is on the bench. So they have a pretty good team. Let's be honest. Baku, yeah, they're going to be good. It's Bayern, it's us. It's the second game of the thing. Dim's very, 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 very interested in their front four. When it's Charles, Vinicius, Musiala, and Yeremy Pino, you just cop it. But look, we're going to go in the 4-2-3-1. We show no mercy. I want to go out there. I want to try and hit him. I want to try and press him. And will we do much? Who knows? Highlight inside 4 gets headed over the bar from Musiala. Manuzzi on an early booking. But we've got through the first 10 minutes. Not bad. We are gone and we've mirrored each other in terms of system. But I would imagine ours is a lot more heavy metal than theirs is. For 2 heavy metal sides, 30 minutes in, a very cagey affair. Jusfi looking for a Roger Val. He's got that bid from AC Milan we're going to have to deal with at some stage. Jusfi, Haas, squeezed. Charles picked off. Val hits into the bar. Ravinka misses an open goal. Oh, mate. Rakavina misses an open goal. 0-0. Yeremy Pino backstick cleared away. Mateus De Ligt full straight back to him. I hate when tackles do that. Vinny Jr. gets away from his man. Stilia. Zugo. Kessie flies in. The second tackle in this highlight falls to him. Yeremy Pino. De Ligt. Deo Upamecano. Stilia. Vinny Jr. Musiala. Charles. 1-0. Down one end, we have a big moment that hits the bar and we miss an open goal. Down the other end, 2 tackles that we lay that fullback to Bayern Munich. 2 tackles. But when you are one of the best teams in the world, everything falls to you, I guess. And there's a difference as well, was Charles is world class and, well, Linden going walkabouts. We're 1-0 down. Don't think we've done much wrong in this game, to be fair, either. We've actually played very, very, very well. I am going to go out there and thrash my arms and put them together and go, come on, boys. We've actually played very well. A lot better for only our second league game in charge and our third competitive match. Ernest wins back. Rukavina. Ernest now. Go, my child. Go on a run, son. Fill your boots. Whip it in there, buddy. Decides against whipping it in and decides to punt a ball all the way back to the centre back that's been man marked instead of just whipping it into a 6'4" striker. Tamori picks it up. Jusfi out on the other side. Looks for Roger Val. Jusfi wins the second one, but it's only going to fall as far as them. And here come Bayern. If Bayern score from this highlight, I'm going to be livid. Bayern are going to score from this highlight. So you've got to tell me my left back has an opportunity to cross and has got cross more often on, and we're going to concede. That is stupid. Then first goal, 2 tackles that fall back to him. Second goal all comes from the fact that my fullback, instead of, who is world class by the way, instead of wants to whip it, wants to go and punt the ball back to the halfway line. 2-0 down for absolute in-game stupidity. 2-0 down for in-game stupidity. Bayern have had 2 shots on target and scored both. Manuzzi. Cleared away. Val. Manuzzi again. Options in the box. Beats one. Goes on a run. Chusfi. Kessie. Linden. Goes all the way back. It's actually a very good press there from Bayern, to be fair. Oh, my word, Lido. We definitely look like a team that's never played this system before. It's only our 3rd competitive match. We've had moments, and we've had pretty bad moments out there too. We've looked pretty awful today. About to make a change, but no point now, as Jeremy Pino whips one in there. Charles. Haas wins on the break. Real's a big boy to hold it up. And instead of doing that, decides to turn out into Vanini Jr. Does well to get in behind him, but there we are. Just he clears, even though he could have let it run for a goal kick. And then we pass it straight back to him again as well, because Val decided to not turn around and present. And we're 3-0 down. Well, this game is over. This game is over. 3-0 down. Got squeezed. Out of all the goals, I can tolerate conceding that one because we've actually tried to play. But, like, I don't understand. You're 6'4" and you're in space. You just turn, you present, you knock it to your fullback and out you go. Oh, no, I'm going to just keep running so do it a day out gets it. Like, it's been 2 match engine issues and that. Match engines cost us a lot here today. And to think that Rukavina missed an open goal for 1-0. Bayern have had 3 shots on target for 3 goals. 3 shots on target for 3 goals at Bayern Munich. We've been a little bit FM to have lost 3-0 as well. $3-0 down, we lose. I get pretty upset. That's pretty disgusting from us. Probably the wrong time to be playing Bayern Munich this early on. But that was horrid. The first game against Hertha Berlin, we went 1-0 down to 0.1 XG, but we came back, we played well, we looked good. In the second game there against Bayern, we had periods where we went toe-to-toe and it looked good, so we can take that positive. But the match engine put the fist through us, and we weren't able to link up as well. It is what it is, but we'll get better by playing the system a bit more. Till next time, I'll see you guys. It'll be another game here in the league, and depending on how far we get in the DP Pokal, maybe a DP Pokal game. We have a negative goal difference after 2. Bayern Munich have shown us why they are the best in Germany, and well, look, they are the best in Germany, and yeah, they've won every title on that whole past winners screen. It's going to be difficult. Till next time, I'll see you guys then. Thank you and goodbye.